Makers of Modern India, Ramchandra Guha profiles 19 political Indian visionaries who through their writings and their thinking shaped the evolution of our republic. At your launch, Geeta Doctor, a Chennai critic and journalist, she had a grouse.
Well, I'm a fan of Ramachandra Guha because I think as a historian, he's got this great gift of making complex issues very, you can read it and understand it and relate to it in a way which is fascinating. Of course, I will have criticisms about the choice of some of these people, because I find that the women seem to have been left out. I mean, I would like to ask him, why not Annie Besant? Why not a more charismatic person? Because, even though Kamala Devi is a wonderful figure, when you read her, she doesn't have that passion of those very fiery orators. So, of course, these are personal choices.
That's a legitimate question, but I should say, apart from Tarabai Shinde and Kamala Devi Chattopadhyay, two remarkable women who are featured in this book, many of the other men, from Ram Mohan Roy, Gandhi, Hamid Dalwai, Nehru, E.V. Ramaswamy, all spoke evocatively about gender equality. So, the issue is gender equality. It's abundantly reflected in this book. At the same time, I'd say one of the things I know about this book, and I say it in the introduction, that one thing I'm certain about is that everyone will complain about their favorite leader. You know, the Bengalis will say there are not enough Bengalis, the Tamils will say there are not enough Tamils, the women will say there are not enough women, a certain caste community will say, why is my caste excluded? But that's the nature of any such selective exercise. You know, if I'd written a book that was 5,000 pages long, which had 150, visionaries, who would read it? And this book is an invitation to a conversation. I want other scholars, younger scholars, to do complementary anthologies. You know, the history of political thought is a neglected field in our country, and my book will begin, I'm certain it will begin a debate and an argument in which other works will appear that will complement and deepen what I've begun.
But being a Chennaiite, I'm sure this question is on many others' mind as well. You've talked about Periyar, but why not Kamaraj or Annadurai?
Well, essentially because Kamaraj, like Vallabhbhai Patel, who's also not in this book, and Indira Gandhi, who's also not in this book, was a doer, not a thinker and a doer. You know, he never left behind a body of published writings that one can reproduce for future generations. Anna was a great orator. He spoke a great deal, but we don't have his dialogues available to us in translation. And I hope this book will provoke a volume called Makers of Modern Tamil Nadu that will do justice to Anna and Kamaraj and E.O.T. Das and some of the early feminists like Muthulakshmi Reddy and Ammu Swaminathan and so on. So, within the confines of one book with such a broad canvas, one can't do justice to the diversity of a country such as ours. It's my take on who are the important and significant thinkers, and I say in my introduction that the greatest tribute to my book would be if there are more such volumes on individual thinkers, on linguistic traditions. You and I come from the state of Karnataka. A book on Karnataka that could have the works of Shivarama Karanth and U.R. Anantamurthy. They are non-fiction writings, not their fiction, but they're equally important activist writings on gender, on caste, on language. May the debate continue.
You know, while reading the book, I wondered if one thing that's common between all these people is that instead of demonizing the British entirely, they also look to see what they could learn from them. So was that a criteria as well?
That was accidental. I knew it's very astute of you, Anu, to pick that out, because it is something that that unites them in that they are not defensive. They are not nostalgic about a glorious past. They recognize that their society has failures and weaknesses, and the British challenged them and provoked them to look within, to correct for these faults and weaknesses, whether it be Gandhi about untouchability or Nehru about Hindu-Muslim relations, or Ram Mohan Roy about gender equality, or Kamala Devi Chattopadhyay about socialism. They are open-minded. They are engaging not just with the British, but with the whole world, with the West and with the East. They look into China, they look into Japan, they look into USA, they look into Russia, and saying, when we see our society in the mirror of other societies, how can we make this a more peaceable, a more tolerant, a more just, a more inclusive, a more outward-looking society? So, the thinkers in this book, with the exception of M.S. Golwalkar, who was a Hindutva ideologue.
That's surprise.
But with the exception of Golwalkar, who had to be there because of his political influence.
And Jinnah.
But with the exception of one or two people, they're not backward-looking, insular people who think they are perfect or their religious tradition is perfect. They recognize that we have much to learn from other traditions, other cultures, other nations, and that's part of their broad-mindedness, that's part of their capaciousness, that's part of their democratic spirit, which it's important to recognize and to deepen in our own time.
You know, you talked about proximate traditions, yes? So I'd like to end this conversation by appealing to people of my generation to read this book, because we have to learn from our proximate traditions and philosophies, yes?
Thank you so much. I think, as I said, this book is written for anyone. I mean, the enjoyment and education that I derived from compiling this book, if some of that could be shared, you know, and communicated to my readers, that would be wonderful. And I'm delighted that already Indian language translations have been commissioned. You know, Malayalam, Tamil, Marathi are already in progress. Hopefully it will come in Hindi, Bengali, other languages too. So that these extraordinarily insightful, rich and relevant writings contained in this book, you know, will reach as wide a spectrum of the Indian citizenry as possible.
No, I'm particularly grateful to you that you've introduced us to people that, you know, I've never even heard of, like Hamid Dalwai, for example. You know, very relevant. Of course, I read your biography. So thank you very much for this very, very important historical work.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us.